Thomas Garrett heard the knock just as the wind reached a howling crescendo against his cabin walls. He'd been a fur trapper in these Montana mountains for 12 years, and he knew the sound of a late autumn storm turning deadly. When he opened the door, snow swirled into his small sanctuary, and there, barely visible through the white chaos, stood a woman wrapped in a thin blanket, her lips blue with cold. "May I sleep in your cabin, sir?" "It's freezing outside," she said through chattering teeth, her dark eyes pleading but proud. Thomas didn't hesitate. He pulled her inside and slammed the door against the storm. She collapsed near his fire, and he could see she was native, probably Blackfoot from her clothing, though most of it was soaked through. Her long black hair hung in frozen strands, and her hands were so cold they'd gone beyond shaking to a frightening stillness. "You'll lose those fingers if we don't warm them slowly," he said, grabbing blankets from his bed. He'd seen frostbite before and knew its cruel progression. He wrapped her carefully, then heated water for tea, all while keeping his movements deliberate and non-threatening. She watched him with the wariness of someone who'd learned to expect the worst from strangers. "My name is Thomas," he said, handing her the warm cup. "You're safe here." "Aida," she whispered. "It means first to dance, though I have not danced in a very long time." Over the next 3 days, the storm raged outside while an unexpected friendship formed within the cabin's walls. Aida's story emerged slowly, painfully. Her village had been attacked by soldiers 6 months prior, scattered to the winds. She'd been searching for her younger brother, 10-year-old Kohana, who'd been separated from her during the chaos. A trapper 2 valleys over had told her he'd seen a boy matching her description near Fort Benton, so she'd been traveling there when the storm caught her. Thomas listened, his jaw tight with anger at injustices he'd witnessed but felt powerless to stop. He'd come to these mountains to escape the violence of the Civil War, only to find different battles being fought in the West. "Fort Benton's a hard 3-day ride in good weather," he said. "In this snow, you'd never make it alone." "Then I will wait for the snow to clear and continue," Aida said with quiet determination. "Kohana is all the family I have left. I made a promise to my mother before she died that I would protect him. I will not break that promise." On the 4th morning, the storm finally broke. Aida prepared to leave, though Thomas could see she was still weak, her cough worrying. "You're not well enough?" he protested. "I have no choice," she replied simply. "Every day I wait is another day my brother might be in danger." Thomas made a decision that surprised even himself. "Then I'm coming with you." Aida stared at him. "Why would you do this? You owe me nothing." "You have already saved my life." Thomas thought about the 12 years he'd spent in these mountains, hiding from his past, from his failures, from the world. He'd left the war broken, unable to save his own unit from an ambush that haunted his dreams. Since then, he'd saved no one, helped no one, isolated himself in self-imposed penance. "Maybe I need to do something right for once," he said quietly. The journey to Fort Benton took 6 brutal days. Thomas knew the territory, the shortcuts, the places to find shelter. He hunted for their food and shared his warmth when the nights grew too cold. Aida, despite her illness, never complained, never slowed unless he insisted they rest. Her courage humbled him. At Fort Benton, they searched for 2 days before finding Kohana in the most unexpected place. A cavalry captain named Morrison had taken the boy in, and to Thomas's surprise, had been treating him well, teaching him to read and write. Morrison was a decent man caught in an indecent situation, trying to do what good he could within a broken system. But when Aida saw her brother, when Kohana's face lit up with joy and relief, Thomas understood he was witnessing something sacred. The boy ran to his sister and they held each other, both crying, speaking in their language, reunited against all odds. Captain Morrison approached Thomas while the siblings talked. "I hope someone would come for him," he said. The boy spoke of his sister every day. "But you should know, there are those who won't be happy about this reunion. There are bounties, policies, people who think native families are better separated." Thomas felt old anger stir in his chest. "Then we'll need to move carefully." That night, Thomas made arrangements. He had gold saved from 12 years of trapping, enough to buy supplies and horses. At dawn, he laid out his plan to Aida. "There's a settlement in Canada, across the border. I have friends there, people who won't ask questions. You and Kohana can start fresh. Be safe. Aida looked at him with tears in her eyes. You have given us everything, your safety, your time, your gold. Why?